Morning, folks. Today's soap is brought to us by Soap Commander Charisma. You can tell what the scent there is. It's melon and citrus. So what it looks like on the inside, and it's pretty firm but easy to scrape out to put in a bowl for a bowl lather. And this particular one comes in a 3-ounce size. And I've got it whipped up here with a Frank shaving brush. Here, my wooden bowl here, and it's somewhat wet, not exactly drippy, but it is wet. Got the alum block this morning from Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements. No rubber band. It's getting pretty small. It looks like it's going to last till Christmas. I got Humphrey's Witch Hazel that I've got menthol in it, as well as some peppermint. And we'll be following up with the aftershave balm. I'll probably just use this one off camera real quick. Probably not much of a need to see that anyway. The amount that you use for an aftershave balm will be, up to each individual, I would say. But typically it doesn't take a whole lot. Already put a hot towel to the face this morning and used Stirling's beard oil that doubles as a pre-shave oil. And going ahead and get started this morning. The shaver of the day is a Banta shavette. It takes a DE blade that's snapped in half or a full DE blade, depending on which way you want to go. It's fairly typical in looks until you get to the part where the blade loads and whatnot. I'll show you here in a moment. But it's a pretty easy going, easy to use shavette. It's got the toe and the heel of the blade pretty well covered up. Show you there's a little bit of a quirk about this one here. This is what it looks like here. You can tell it does take the full blade. You can see that the toe and the heel here, toe heel, is covered up. That's what it looks like on the other side there. And this is the part that might be a little troublesome for some folks. I didn't find it to be quite the issue. I thought it would be, but I used it, a couple of times and got used to it pretty darn quick. That's what it looks like through the scales. But even with those two posts right there, something to be aware of, that if you have a blade inside, it does protrude down through the bottom. So if you grab it and it's like that and you got a blade in it, you're going to find out pretty quick how that works. Not too well. Just something to point out, not to close it all the way if you got a blade in it. A little, I guess you might say it, a little unsafe there. And it's pretty easy to load the blade. Once the blade is in there, it doesn't wiggle around. That's a pretty snug fit. And then this sliding mechanism here, it just slides right on across. You can tell on the back side where they've got two posts there to hold the blade in, and that's where you slide across also. Kind of see those grooves right there. It just slides right on across. Pretty easy to use. Now, at the time when I got mine through Gifts and Care, but since then, Maggot Razors, I believe, if I find it, I'll put a link down below. Started carrying these, which is, like I say, they're pretty easy to use. If there was a way to, I guess you might say this would be as close as a person might get on this kind of style, it would be a mild shavette, because of the way that's designed. The blade feel is there, but it's not going to be quite like, for instance, like a Parker, where you can definitely feel that blade. It's just that for some folks, that toe and the heel is a little bit troublesome, and with it being covered up like that, it does make it easier for some folks to use. I know for me it does make it just, not that I have a problem with the toe and the heel, but this one here just seems to be pretty easy for me to get used to, and maneuver around my face. Of course, I'm not saying that you can't cut yourself with this thing, because you can, but it does make it a little bit easier to use starting out. Matter of fact, I think I just did right there. We'll find out. Yeah, right there. I have to be kind of careful with these creases. If I don't get it at a little bit of an angle at least, I do. Yep, there it is right there. I thought I did. See? That's what happens when you mention it in a video, huh? Sometimes with a cut like this, by the time I get done with the shave, this will, that bleeding will stop. Sometimes I don't always have to have a step-dick pencil. I think this one here might be alright. We'll find out here in a moment, won't we? I like this shaver. I enjoy using it. I have another one that'll be similar to this. Actually, more than one. I got two. Both the other two that I'm talking about is they're made by Focus, but they're two different designs. One was the aluminum one, the Focus Slim, and it's a little bit more. I say a little bit. It's more expensive than these here. Run you a neighborhood, I think, of $58 roughly. And it's a really nice shaver, and it does a good job of covering the toe and the heel of the blade. And it's already got a bevel on it, so it helps you with getting the angle that you need. It's a really nice shaver. And the cheaper one made by Focus called an Evolution. Usually the number will start out being a R21, and then after that there may be another number after that, and that's just denoting what the scales are like. That one there has a plastic insert, and it does a good job of covering the toe and the heel, and relatively easy to use. And it's somewhat cheaper. You can usually find the Evolution right around the $15 mark shipped. Some people don't particularly care for the plastic insert. It took me a while to, how you say, decide to go ahead and give one a try. I went ahead and ordered an extra plastic insert just in case something should happen to the one I got. But after using it a while, kind of feel like even if there is an issue with, you know, how you always fold it up and down, up and down, up and down in that crease where it might decide to give way on you, it still seemed like it's still going to hold together. At least it seemed like it to me. I haven't had any issues with it just yet. See, it's still trying to keep on bleeding right there. We'll find out. I say sometimes, you know, especially like with an aftershave balm, it will stop bleeding for me. Yes, it just goes to show. Every so often, I do get a nick or a cut, something of the sort. The blade that I'm using today is a Personna blade, and it's the full DE blade. And it's been my, how can you say, my go-to blade for quite a while. I might say that was thanks to back then, when Kmart was more or less open. there was a blade made by Dorco that was called Pace, and that was what I kind of sort of started with. I bought several of them, and that blade is what helped prompt me to look for another blade. And Personna was the one that I started hunting down. And I couldn't find any here locally, but I did find some online. And of course, you know, the 100 pack. And so that's where I got started on Personna. I got started on this shavette was I was looking for something different, and I felt like this was different since it did take a full VE blade. Thought I'd give it a try, see if that size of a head would be okay to use. I don't shave under my nose, so I thought that, in other words, wouldn't be an issue for me. Still kind of thinking that even with the, this size, seeing or noticing how somebody would shave with a straight razor, that if they can get one of those under their nose, they should be able to get a full DE underneath your nose. That one there is a little bit smaller than some of the other styles that I've seen where it might be a little problematic getting that head under your nose. But like I said, for me, I've had hair underneath my nose for a good long while, many years now, so it has not seen a razor blade. Oh my goodness. Well over 20 years. I think it's probably closer to 30. It's been a while. In other words, facial hair has been a big part of my life ever since I've been able to grow it. A lot of that had to do with the fact that I didn't appreciate my shaves. They were not exactly smooth, comfortable. This would be nothing compared to what I used to get. It'd get really bad up over here under my neck right there. Since I discovered, I guess you might say, this way of shaving, Jill's probably going to get me leaving the soap behind the ears. Ever since I've discovered this way of shaving, my shaves have been a lot better. My face is a lot, in other words, the skin on my face seems to be a lot better. Just things have improved all the way around. Naturally, I've got just a wee bit of stinging right there going on, but it feels like it's going to be all right. It'll stop bleeding down here pretty soon. It just takes it a moment sometimes. If you ever use a styptic pencil, you should be prepared for quite a bit of stinging. I know when I first started, I have cuts from the shavette and use that styptic pencil, and boy howdy, I was not prepared for the first time. And you're talking about stinging, it was a lot worse than this alum block, that's for sure. It really lit me up. Kind of doing that dance, you know, in the bathroom. I was shocked on how bad it stung. And of course, it was down in an area like this where I'd cut myself, and I had a few over here when I was trying to do those cross grain passes up here. Wasn't getting the blade flat enough when I put it up against my face, and I'd always keep on whacking myself right there. I mean, like several times, just right there in the same spot. You would think I'd learn. It's slow learner. It took me a moment to get there. That cooling effect from the peppermint. I got more peppermint than I have menthol in here, and that peppermint is really nice on the face right now. It's just cooling off, and you can kind of see it's going to be all right. Once I put the aftershave balm on there, it'll cool things down right there. I'll be good to go for the work day. Hope everybody's doing well. It is a Monday. I'm going to have a whole week of Mondays, I already know. So hope everybody's doing well. Stay safe and smooth shaves to you.